Okay, so this is filling out the map and the chart for the perfect verb. So I'm just going to slide this down a little bit because you have a better shot a little bit lower. Here's what we have so far. We have in the state of Illinois our present active indicative. Remember, they have nothing particular about them that you need to know. And then the imperfect are built on the same tense stem. Our second principal part, which now you have those principal part sheets that I gave you. I uploaded it along with chapter 13 and 14. So the second form of the verb across would be your future, and they're in the state of Missouri because they've got a sigma in the middle. Your third state is Oklahoma, in which you find the aorist active and the aorist middle. In this lesson, you're going to learn about two new forms, and they are actually different, even though they belong to what seems like it should be the same thing. And so there are two states that are side by side and look a lot like each other. That will help you with remembering it. You get the perfect active indicative as your fourth principal part, the perfect active indicative. And as the fifth principal part, you actually get the perfect middle passive indicative. So down here, perfect middle passive indicative. In this line below that, you would get a special form in Greek called the pluperfect, but I'm not asking you to learn that right now. There's only 6 different forms of that in the New Testament, so you don't actually need it. You get the same thing over here. But the perfect active and the perfect middle passive are related to each other because they're both perfect and tense, but they actually have a different form on which they're built. It's similar, and so that's why you'll see the states are side by side, but it can be different, and so we want to attend to that. Let's get our other chart and take a look at it real quick, and then you'll see where we've been and where we're going. These are your Greek verb tenses. So first you've got all of your present verbs. Just keep reviewing these over and over again. You got pisteuo, pisteues, pisteue, pisteuamen, pisteuete, pisteusi or usin. That's your present ones. Those are the ones you have to learn, because then the other things you can determine by recognizing how they're different. But if you don't know these, then you don't know your verbs at all. So the present active and present middle passive have no, in particular, distinguisher. You just have to know them. Pisteuo means I believe. The imperfect is built on the same tense stem as the present. So you can think about these together. The imperfect, though, has a couple things that help us recognize it. First, it has an epsilon augment at the beginning. The epsilon augment at the beginning of the word indicates the past. And then it has secondary endings. So the endings are similar to what you've seen so far, but they're also different. These are ones that you may not have to memorize, but you definitely need to recognize. So you need to work on them a little bit as well. This is the verb form then. See the epsilon augment? Pistue, that's the same stem as it is up here. And then on, your secondary endings. This means I was believing. It's like showing that video of your graduation. I was walking down the aisle. I was getting the diploma. So it's like this past tense that's kind of like told as a story. The next tense is actually future, which is built on the second principal part. Remember, it goes in that state, Missouri. So what comes in the middle? A sigma. That's how you recognize it, is with a sigma in the middle. So here you got pisteu. So I'm mispronouncing it intentionally, so you see that sigma in the middle. So this means I will believe. Okay, how do we recognize those aorists? They're the crazy form, so let's pay attention to them. You have the first aorist active indicative. It's recognized by a sa. Oklahoma's got that ah sound to it. So here you see it. It's got the epsilon augment. Oh, I also could add that. The epsilon augment, because it's in the past. That's usually what the epsilon means in the beginning. It's in the past. It's got the sa ending. This means I believed. Notice, though, how it's different from the imperfect up here. I was believing. It's like you're telling it over a period of time. The aorist is undefined. It's just happened in the past. We don't know when exactly it happened. We just know it occurred. The second aorist active indicatives are those ones that have the crazy tense, the crazy stem change. These ones you can't predict, you just have to learn. And so I've given you 5 that you're going to work on right now. They also are the ones that you're just memorizing in your vocab. So here's an example. This is from lambano, that's the main verb. Why does it lose its mu and just become lob as the stem? We're not sure, and there's probably some historical reason for it, but it's kind of like in English, go, going, went. Anymore, we just know that it's the case. So here, this again is a simple past. This just means I received or I took, because lambano can mean to take or to receive. It's a little bit weird for us, but that's how it works. Here then are the ones that we're working on. You can go ahead and cross out the pluperfect form because we're not doing that ever. We're not worrying about that in our course. There's only 6 of those in the New Testament. We're focusing on the perfect. Here are the characteristics of the perfect, and you can see it in this chart. It gets a redoubling. That's its most obvious characteristic. So usually you get the same consonant. Sometimes it alters slightly because if it's aspirated or something. So you get here a same consonant and then epsilon. So pep, that's an indicator of the perfect. Almost always the doubling, that's the key. So reduplication is our biggest key. Another way is it usually has this in the middle, a ka, kappa, alpha. That's usually the middle, the infix, just like you had a saw in the airs. So in the perfect you have a ka. So here we've got pepistu ka. This is I have believed. If we keep thinking about our image of graduating someday from your program at George Fox Seminary, you could think about the video of your graduation as the imperfect. I was graduating. I was walking down the aisle that day. I was getting my diploma. You could think about the aorist as kind of just a snapshot, a photo from that day. I graduated. And here's a picture of me in my cap and gown. The perfect, though, is something that happens in the past with continuing influence to today. So you could think about that as your graduation diploma on the wall of your office. You have graduated and you're still a graduate. You don't become less of a graduate after the day of graduation. You still have graduated. And we use the have in the English to convey that sense. The perfect middle passive is very, very similar, even though they're slightly different. They're very similar. So again, you have the reduplication. That's your key in the perfect. Reduplication. That's what you're looking for. Then other neat characteristic of it is it's got the passive endings. So you look at this, my, psi, tai, metha, esthe. But it has no connecting vowel. No connecting vowel. So up, if you were like up here in the present, you could have that same kind of ending because you could have piste, u, ah, my. I am being believed. It's a little bit odd in that form, but you could have it. It's a possibility. But down here, see, you don't get this omicron down here. You just get it tacked straight on to the stem. Pe. Oops, I need it just a little higher. In the perfect, you just get tacked straight on. Pe, piste, u, my. This is I have been believed. And so it's like someone believed your report and they continue to believe it still today. They believe the good news that you gave them. Okay, we only have one more verb for them to learn. You're coming along really well. Use these as tools. I'm trying to help you think about what are the different principal parts. There's 6 of them. And then also, what are the different characteristics of each of the principal parts? I like this chart. I'll probably use it on your next aggregate demonstration because I think it's the easiest way to recognize the different verb forms that there are in Greek. Try it out, see if it works for you. Okay.